Welcome back to PANENKA Predictions, where we discuss the most exciting and find the most predictable games for each round of the EPL and the other major leagues in Europe. And before we start this week's prediction,
we interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
Toma! 4-0 Barca spanking Madrid like the little babies in their own backyard as well. Happy, happy days in Spain indeed. And speaking of amazing matches with loads of goals, how amazing was the last round of the EPL? Bournemouth with a last-second equaliser at Villa Park. Brentford coming from 2-0 down against Ipswich to score a last-minute winner in a 7-goal thriller. Brighton vs Wolves, Arsenal, Liverpool, all with loads of great goals and a touch of controversy just to add a bit of spice. Last weekend's games really reminded me of just why I love this incredible game so much. Get up there, Barca. 4-0 away to Madrid. Thank you muchísimo, you blanco misfiring muppets. On to this weekend's amazing games, and we kick off our predictions at St James's Park with Newcastle vs Arsenal. Newcastle are winless now in their last 5 games. They last recorded a victory way back in mid-September and have only managed home wins this season against the inconsistent Spurs and Southampton. Last weekend against Chelsea, they lost their second game in a row, and things don't look any easier this weekend as their injury list keeps growing and they're hosting the high-flying Gunners. Arsenal last week, they got off to a flying start against Liverpool, with Saka firing them in front after only 9 minutes. Van Dijk soon equalised after that before Mikel Moreno gave the Gunners the lead once again, only for Mo Salah to bring the teams level again with a late equaliser. He always loves scoring against the Gunners, and that's the way it finished up. Arsenal, I feel, are more of a finished product than Newcastle, and they're playing consistently better. And I do see them as slight favourites in this game, but Newcastle at home can never be taken lightly. I'm tempted to pick Arsenal to pick this one, but my gut instinct is just telling me that both teams will score in this game. Man City a month ago went to Newcastle and they only managed a 1-1 draw, and I think this weekend the outcome's likely to be the same. So both teams to score is my prediction for this game, but deep down inside I will be hoping that Newcastle can go on and snatch a winner. Let me know your predictions for this game in the comments below. Arsenal's last away opponents, Bournemouth, who managed to beat them 2-0 at the Vitality Stadium, now have an even bigger challenge when they take on reigning champions Manchester City. Now, at first glance, people might look at this game and think, yeah, Man City will win this, it's pretty straightforward. But is it really? I, for one, don't think so, as Bournemouth at home are a really hard nut to crack. They did extremely well to salvage a last-minute draw away to Aston Villa, and this week they will be more than up for the challenge. Man City, on the other hand, they just keep on winning, even if it's by a single goal margin. They've actually won their last 3 EPL games by just a solitary goal, and that could be a possibility in this game as well. They did create plenty of scoring chances last weekend at home against Southampton. Phil Foden had a few cracks himself, but once again, it was the big man Haaland who, even though he looked like he was being dragged down and being fouled at the time, still managed to get the decisive touch and give the Sky Blues a well-deserved very early lead. And Man City will be the favourites again in this game, but they won't have it entirely their own way. And I do actually think that Bournemouth will find the back of the net in this one. Man City's defence is not as good as their attack. But I do feel Man City will still find a way to get the 3 points, and my prediction is an away win in this game. Ipswich are at home to Leicester this weekend. And what about their game last weekend at Brentford? Ipswich took the lead and then even doubled the lead in the first half, before then conceding 2 and going into the halftime break at 2 apiece. No! They fell behind early in the second half to a Mbeumo strike. He's in good form, isn't he, big man? And then they even went down a man, but still managed to pull back an equaliser in the last 5 minutes. What an amazing comeback that was! However, Brentford, and Mbeumo in particular, had the final laugh, scoring the winning goal in the 6th minute of additional time. They must have been gutted after that. This week, they will hope for better fortunes when they host a Leicester team who themselves have copped 5 goals in their last 2 games alone. Leicester have managed to score, though, in every game so far this season. And I really don't see the Ipswich defence being able to stop that run this weekend. Goals at both ends should be a given in this game, so I'm going for both teams to score. And speaking of teams that are scoring loads of goals, 2nd place Liverpool hosts 6th place Brighton at Anfield Anfield this weekend. The Reds will be hoping to go back to the top of the table with a win here, but do take note that Brighton have only lost once this season, and that was 4-2 away to Chelsea. Liverpool played well last week to come back from behind to earn a 2-2 draw at Arsenal, with Mo Salah once again on the scoring sheet. He's actually scored 3 times against Brighton in their last 2 meetings, so keep an eye on him. He might be a good bet for anytime goal scorer in this one. The last 5 games between these two sides has seen over 2.5 goals in each game. And given the way the teams are playing right now, I can see that becoming 6 in a row. So my prediction for Liverpool versus Brighton is for over 2.5 goals. Liverpool will probably come out on top, but I'm going to stick with overs for this game. Southampton host Everton this weekend after surviving a Man City onslaught last time out, where they unbelievably lost by only 1 goal. They will be hoping for the same defensive steal, or pure luck, against a constantly improving Everton side who are actually undefeated in their last 5 outings now. Everton can actually feel unlucky to have dropped 2 points in their last home draw against Fulham, as they did create more of the better chances. But that's how the game goes. If you don't take your chances, you will get punished. Just ask any Real Madrid fan right now. As Southampton are playing at home, I do fancy their chances of scoring in this game, but definitely not of keeping a clean sheet. Oh, no. So my prediction for this bottom half of the table clash is for both teams to score. An interesting game from the top half of the table sees a very inconsistent Tottenham hosting a very consistent and in-form Aston Villa. Now, Tottenham, they must be a really hard team to support. One week you're scoring 4 past West Ham and winning comfortably, and the next week you're losing to Crystal Palace? Before this game, they hadn't even won a single game all season. Mate, it must drive their fans bonkers. I really doubt that neither Tottenham players or their fans, to be honest, can be confident of getting a win against Villa this weekend. Villa have actually won 3 of the last 4 meetings between these two teams, and with the way they're playing right now, along with how badly Tottenham are defending, I can see goals in this game. Hopefully for Tottenham, their by far best player, Son-min Kim-chi, will be back for them, as he was sorely missed last weekend. He's such a good player and he seems like a really nice guy. I'd love to see him playing at a club that actually has a chance of winning some silverware. Like Aston Villa maybe. Either way, it should make for an interesting and entertaining game, and my prediction for this one is over 2.5 goals. Let me know in the comments who you think will come out on top in this game, or any game this week. I'd really like to know your predictions as well, guys. And the final game from the EPL this week that I want to talk about is Manchester United at home against Chelsea. Now, this game could go either way, really. Maybe except for Man U winning. That's really a bit of a stretch of the imagination right now. However, they have appointed Ruud van Nistelrooy as their new interim coach, and this will be his first game in charge. And we all know that teams tend to perform better, at least initially, when a new coach is appointed. So maybe Man U do have a slight chance here. But things do have to change dramatically. Last week's performance against West Ham, well, that was unwatchable, even for some of the players themselves. And they'll be hoping for a massive turnaround if they're to get anything from this game against Chelsea. Chelsea got back to winning ways last weekend, just against Newcastle. Goals from Nicholas Jackson and Cole Palmer earning them the 3 points. And they'll be quietly confident of getting a result against Man U this weekend. Chelsea, though, remember this, they haven't beaten Man U at Old Trafford in the league since 2013. That's over 10 years now, man. And as bad as Man U are right now, them being at home with a rude new manager, maybe that run will continue. After all is said and done, my prediction is going to be for both teams to score in what will be a curious encounter this weekend at Old Trafford. And now we're off to Spain. And let's start our predictions with the once mighty Valencia hosting Real Madrid. After the embarrassing paliza they received in their own backyard at the hands of Barcelona last weekend, ole! Madrid will be looking for a prompt response. And their opponents Valencia have managed to take a point off Madrid in both of their last 2 meetings at La Mestalla. But I really can't see that happening again here. Long gone are the days of a young David Villa, Gaisca Mendieta, Aymar, David Silva, and the current coach, Ruben Baraja, cutting opponents apart for Los Ches. And their last home game actually saw them concede 3 goals and lose to Las Palmas, who are actually 3rd bottom in La Liga. That's how bad things are for Valencia. And the bottom place in La Liga right now, believe it or not, is actually occupied by Valencia.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never...
It's a sad state of affairs for a club that once graced the Champions League final and were constantly challenging for, well, 3rd place in La Liga. And as much as they will try their very best to get a result in this game, I think that Madrid will be far too strong for them, and I can see Madrid scoring at least 2 goals in this game. So that will be my prediction for the away team, Real Madrid, to score at least 2 goals. And to then go on and lose the game 3-2, hopefully. Now, off to Catalunya for the big local derby between Barcelona and city rivals Espanyol. Now, in case you missed it last week, Barcelona smashed Real Madrid 4-0 at the Bernabeu to extend their lead to 6 points over Madrid in La Liga. The Blaugrana really are in amazing form right now. In last week's video, I jokingly wished for a 4-1 win against Madrid, and my boy, did they not disappoint. Not in the slightest. Mbappe, what was he doing that game? He must have watched a Pippo Inzaghi highlights reel from the 90s. He was offside so many times. And even when he did manage to stay onside, the mighty Iñaki Peña was off his line early to smother the chances and to prevent that Ninja Turtle from finding the back of the net in that encounter. Lewandowski, on the other hand, continued his fine form, bagging 2 goals in the space of 2 minutes, before the best young player since a young Messi scored a brilliant goal with his right foot. Did anyone tell him he's left-footed? And then he set up the 4th goal for the only informed Brazilian on the field, Rafinha, to silence the home crowd and put that game to bed. This weekend, Barcelona face another difficult opponent in their city rivals, Espanyol. Now, I say difficult not so much in the footballing sense, as Espanyol are playing rubbish right now, and they're just above the relegation zone. And considering they were pumped 4-1 by Madrid not too long ago, we should see Barca claim the 3 points again in this one. Of that, there's little doubt. I just worry about the potential injuries that can arise from such a fierce and fiery local derby. Espanyol probably won't even try and win this game. They're just going to do their best to make sure that Barca doesn't either. And if that means a few over-the-top challenges and high elbows, then I'm pretty sure that's what they're going to do. It should make for an interesting and very intense game, and my prediction will be for Barcelona to win and over 2.5 goals. That's all for this weekend's coming football predictions. Please like and subscribe to this channel and leave some comments in the chat. I can take as good as I get, guys, and I'm always up for some friendly banter, and I would sincerely love to hear your thoughts on any of the upcoming games. Until next week, team, enjoy the football and best of luck with all your footballing predictions.